What's going on, y'all, man? It's your man Jeff, Philly Freck 215.
Yo, what's up, y'all, man? Pastor Carl Day, on Twitter, Pastor Carl Day, man. Well, it's your boy Carl, man. So we back at y'all, man.
Episode 7.
Episode 7. They say that's a lucky number, man. So
Training camp close. Whew.
absolutely. So today, man, we bringing y'all the training camp episode.
Kind of like a little preview.
Yeah, man, a little preview, man. You know what I'm saying? Some things that we going to look forward to. We're going to talk about, some early predictions for start of training camp because, every year you have one of those. We also going to talk about, biggest positional battles, talk about some of the weaknesses that we think, going into training camp. Hopefully Jeff could be realistic and say that there's weaknesses.
No, man, ain't none. 16-0.
Yeah, man, but, question mark, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like we gonna talk about training camp, man. It's definitely that time,
Good
man.
that it's getting back, man.
Yeah, it's that time, man. It's coming back. So we talking Cowboys and Eagles, of course, because that's what we dealing with here, man. We Cowboy Eagles fan. Talk about NFC East football in general. You know what I mean? In our spare time, but we gonna focus on the birds and the boys today. So again, man, it's episode 7. Listen, man, shout out to where we at? Japan and Argentina.
And Argentina, man.
Yeah, man.
2 new countries we got some hits in.
Two
That's
new
what's
countries,
up.
man.
Appreciate
got hits
that.
over there, man. Whoever y'all is, man, let us know on Twitter because, y'all can help pay half of a flight or something for me and give me a place to stay in one of them countries when I come through. And I promise you, I'll bring you a T-shirt or something. Even swap. But yeah,
Right.
man. So we back at it, man. So it's just definitely good to be back on this mic, man, and back on the podcast, and we're gonna talk about some football.
Football, yeah,
And,
getting close. Like I said, it's getting close, man. Like I feel like a kid right before, like that week before Christmas, just waiting.
No doubt. Then we gonna start. We gonna start treating the preseason games like they playoff games.
Right.
You just happy
hungry
to see football. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, we gonna be seeing fans going off the deep end, man.
Oh, of course.
Some guys will be bums after the first preseason game. You know how that goes.
Don't know why we drafted them, why we signed them. You know what I mean? Fire this coach, fire that coach. Stuff like the usual.
Yeah, man. I just want to personally shout out the Eagles fans, man. Because, when Dak Prescott was showing how legit he was in preseason, we had dudes telling us how vanilla his schemes is. And, we going to see in the regular season and he's not playing against anybody. And teams are going to game plan for him. And, hey, man, and then, 16 games later, Dak, rookie of the year, everything else, man, 4-row rookie, man.
Yeah,
So,
he was the rare guy that carried over, man. He like one of the few that took it to the regular season.
No doubt. I'm gonna take that rare. I'm gonna take that rare thing, man, because he's a rare guy, man. So listen, y'all, we want to kick this thing off, man. So I don't know, Jeff, what we want to tackle first, man? We gonna go back and forth, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
What's the player you most looking forward to seeing in year, not year 2, but this year, period. Who you looking
this
forward
year?
to? Yeah.
All right, can I give you a vet and then a rookie? Oh, goodness, yeah.
We can go. Yeah, we can do vet. Then I'll give you vet. Then rookie. Yeah.
All right, cool. I will say, as far as the vet's concerned, naturally, I guess I gotta go with Dak Prescott. As a vet, I want to see him in year 2. I'm excited about his development, more confidence going forward. Him in the continuity with Dez Bryant and the other weapons. Because remember, last year, man, they had him behind Kellen Moore and Romo. You know what I'm saying? Just coming in as a rook, and he wasn't really getting first-team reps, let alone second-team reps. So, again, which was even more amazing to what he did and how he was – like, he literally had to build chemistry as he went along. Similar to Carson Wentz, you know what I mean? He didn't get a lot of first rep snaps and all that kind of stuff either. Right, you know what I'm saying? So, again, that was very distinct about both of those rookies being put in those positions because that trade y'all made was like right before the season started.
Yep.
Yeah, so they got thrusted into those roles. So, which has a lot about their character. But, yeah, I would say Dak, man, because, again, I think this next year, one thing I believe that he's done a great job of doing is staying humble, even, with the limelight. You know what I'm saying? He's been doing various things in communities, continuously committing himself to causes, cancer, everything else. He lost his mom to cancer, been giving back to kids, surprising kids at camps, doing all kinds of while still shooting commercials and just staying grounded, but yet still continuously talking about how focused he is going into year 2 and how he's still bitter, almost like about that playoff loss. So I just think the kids, man, his poise is, and I tweeted it earlier, but I think a lot of his background attributes to his toughness. You know what I'm saying? His mother was in an interracial relationship, you know, in the 70s. You know what I'm saying? Where like they,
That
you
was
know,
frowned upon.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? And you know, he's this interracial child growing up in trailer park homes. You know what I'm saying? And he really just fought against the odds, lost his mother. So I think, man, like that's why the NFL stage is like nothing for him, because it's like, yo, I've been through hell. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but for all that being said, I'm looking forward to seeing him in year 2. There's a couple other guys I could have went with from a veteran standpoint. Malik Collins is another one, because I mean he had a good season last year, but Dak Prescott by far.
Well, yeah, naturally, like I'm gonna go with Carson Wentz, because year 2, like I said, and last year, he played like a little bit in the first preseason game. Then he got his ribs broken, so he was out the whole preseason, so he wasn't practicing anything. Then he got thrown right into it 8 days before, like you the starting quarterback. So that's why when them first 4 weeks, when he was like lighting it on fire, we was like, yo, this is crazy, man. This dude ain't had no type of practice, no nothing with this team, and he just came out looking like one of the top quarterbacks in the league. So then, of course, eventually, things settled down and teams started game planning for the the weapons around him and stuff like that, and game planning for him, the offense, etc. But just to see what he showed during the year, not getting down on himself, like he had a couple bad games here and there, but just seeing him stick with it and not hang his head and continue to battle and continue to bring the team back, even though when he, like all his, he started games poorly. Like most of his interceptions was like in the first quarter, first half. Then he would always bounce back the second half and bring us back and try to get us into the game, bring it close. We would, sometimes we would pull it out, sometimes we wouldn't. But just to see him consistently fight and not having much, from the skill position, like, lack of running game, Ryan Matthews coming in and out the lineup with some injuries, Doug not trusting him when he was fumbling late in the games and having to overuse Sproles and et cetera, the wide receiver situation, Jordan Matthews getting hurt. So also Zach Ertz getting hurt beginning of the year. So like I said, just to see him the full offseason being the guy with the new weapons we added, the offensive line hopefully staying intact. I'm just looking forward to see that progression from him, because like the talent is there. You just have to go out and do it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm really looking forward to see how he bounce back and how he can perform with more favorable situations, or like more weapons and better offensive line stability in front of him. You know what I mean? Also with Doug Peterson too, another second year, in the system and everything coming together. So I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah, that's almost the veteran you gotta want to see too. Like with Doug Peterson.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of times, at points of games, people was questioning Doug a lot last year. And sometimes you get too predictable in your play call and everything else. You know what I mean? Which could also become problematic, especially for a younger quarterback. Teams knowing what to expect. So
right. Also to the fans, I want people to stop being so hard on Doug, man. Like, you give Carson Wentz passes, Doug deserves them same passes, because the same things you say about Wentz, no weapons and no this and that. Well, Doug Peterson basically was offensive coordinator. He had the same type of problems Carson Wentz had. So, cut him a little bit of slack, man. Stop being so hard on him and giving Wentz passes, or be the same. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, no doubt. And just to that point, like, I was one of them Cowboys fans, man. Like, I was super hard on Garrett. Really went sold on him. And very, I was hard on him. Like, at points, I was just like, yo, man, like, this guy's available, man. They need to fire Garrett, get him out of here, and bring somebody else in. But the reality of it was Dallas was coming from a transition point where when Garrett took over, he was getting rid of messy contracts. Will McClay, had came on board at some point and, was helping to clean some of that up. Dallas was drafting better, you know what I'm saying? But the team had to go through a transformation, and I think that fans have unrealistic expectations most times, because that's just what most fans do, and not trust these coaches enough to transform the team to look like what it is they're trying to build. So Garrett kind of came off with this whole right kind of guy thing. He's the right kind of guy, and he was serious about a certain type of player that he wanted on his team. And he was still fighting at the time against Jerry Jones, who was like, he wanted to just sign everybody and bring everybody on board. And Garrett finally got a chance to really impose his will, get his identity on the team. And one thing he was great at doing was still keeping the team together. And in spite of everything, injuries and everything else. So I'm definitely proud to say I'm wrong. I was wrong on Garrett, man, and Garrett has truly done a good job with keeping his fingerprint on the team. So, yeah, if Eagles fans got to be patient with Doug Peterson, man, especially a young head coach, you know what I'm saying?
Not much experience in the NFL in general.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think 7-9 with a rookie quarterback and like everything that we say happened with Carson Wentz was a pretty solid first year. You know what I mean? You want to see some progress. Of course, we're going to have to see it. But I'm not too, like, at first I was against it. I'm like, Doug Peterson, I'm like, eh. But, eventually I'm like, okay, let me see what it does. And, like, he started the year off pretty good. But, like I said, it got a little predictable, sometimes a little too over-aggressive. But I like that aggressiveness in him, though. I don't want him to lose that. Like, I mean, I like aggressive coaches. But I think this year, like I said, with more talent and better skill position players and more continuity, I think it'll be a better year for him as well as Carson Wentz. But, I mean, we have to obviously see it play out. But, yeah, so, okay. So, what rookie you looking forward to coming to this training camp?
See, man, and that's the toughest thing for me. I want to say Chidobe Awuzie, because for various reasons, and I guess I'll get into that a little later on. But I guess, because he still probably would be constituted as a rookie, man. Jalen Smith.
Oh, yeah, technically he is.
Yeah, Jalen Smith, man. Who players, man, around him been saying he's like 100% out there. They've been saying that this dude ain't lost speed. He's been moving. But I'm anxious to see him, man, because you talk about a guy where, without the injury, they saying he was top 5 pick in the NFL, like, hands down. Some people said he was the best player in the draft. So just instinctively, like, the dude can really do everything. Read the plays out of the backfield, you know what I'm saying? Cover the pass, rush the quarterback, you know what I'm saying? He can do everything that you want from your linebacker, great size to speed ratio. And again, they're saying that everybody's watching him, saying the dude hasn't lost no speed or no athleticism. I guess it all comes down to what happens when it's time to hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, how does his, how does his legs, how does his legs stand up when it's time to go ahead and really make that contact? So training camp with them pads on will show us. I'm anxious to see him, man. I'm anxious to see, how he moves, what he's going to do. Is he going to play in the preseason? And that's pretty much that, man. I think that I think if he's, close to normal, back to normal, like, he's gonna have an amazing year. But we'll see.
I'm gonna go with Derek Barnett, man. Like, of course he's my pick for defensive rookie of the year. But like I said, I just want to see him once the pads go on, because from reports, he had a good spring. But it's not much you can do as a defensive offensive lineman with no pads or, anything like that.
Shorts and all that.
Shorts,
right.
you know what I'm saying? So, also, he gets to go against, 2 quality, top-notch tackles every day on, Jason Peters on one side, Lane Johnson on the other side every day, and learn from going against them, because, Sunday's not going to get too much tougher than those two. So, but, yeah, I want to see what he does, like, if he can translate from what he did in college to the pro level. But, like I said, reports were saying that, yeah, he looks great. He looks good. Lane was giving him props, saying, he uses his hands well. He bends around the edge well. And also I seen Chuck Smith, former defensive lineman. He's like a coach now or something. They call him the Sack Whisperer. He was saying that Barnett got like a spin move he was working on. So he ready to see him unleash that. So I'm interested in seeing if he can, add that to his repertoire, because if you add a spin move to your get off and the way you use your hands, that's pretty much tough for offensive linemen to stop consistently all game. But, yeah, like I said, I want to see him once the pads get on and see, how he performs against the offensive line. But, yeah, Derek Barnett, man, that's who I'm really looking forward to, rookie-wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you think going into training camp, who do you – like, what position battle you think is going to be the most fierce positional battle?
Fierce? Because we got you got the left guard position between Allen Barbre and Isaac Seumalo, and you also got there's not really too many, but besides that and corner, like, there are really only 2 battles for where it's not clear cut who's going to start. So I would go, I would say, like, the left guard spot, because I know, just because he's younger, I think the coaches would prefer Alex Seumalo just takes the job, you know what I'm saying? But Barber, he played well. People want to always keep writing him off and get rid of him, but he's a solid guard, you know what I mean? And he wasn't a liability last year when he was playing until he got hurt, of course.
So you think Isaac wins that?
I think so. Yeah, I think so because I think the kid he showed last year. He played pretty much everywhere in the offensive line besides center last year and did pretty well. He's a real versatile dude, and I think he's gonna be the future center eventually. Once Kelsey is going out of here, but I think he was a 3rd round pick. You know what I mean? So you want, your top 3 picks, you kind of want them to be starters by year 2.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and you want to add some youth to the offensive line. Peter's getting up there in age. Kelsey. I mean, he's not old, but you got Lane and Brandon, but you want to add some youth to the line. So, but yeah, I think Isaac will wrestle that job away, and I think he'll deserve it as well because pretty good player from what I've seen last year. He played right tackle, he played left tackle a little bit, he played left guard, he played a little right guard. And he held his own, against some pretty good defense.
So, question: so you think it's foregone conclusion that Barnett is a clear starter over Vinny Curry?
I think when it comes down to it,
I feel like they're gonna transition him more. To me, I think they probably gonna give him like ample reps, but for some reason, why I feel like salary concerns and also just last year was Vinny's like probably first year really kind of like getting that experience in the wide nine, because that's another thing too. Like Barnett got a experience too in the wide nine, so I was kind of more so feeling like it's probably gonna be more of a rotational thing with both of them.
I think so, and also you got Chris Long, you got him into there as well.
Oh yeah, right.
But I just think like I think his talent is going to show, like because I really just believe in the kid, so I think his talent is going to show, and I just like it's been. I'm a big Vinny Curry fan.
In camp, or do you think that's going to happen during the season though?
I think it's going to happen like going into the season, so they're going to give him like majority of the reps from the jump. He may not quote unquote start, but I think he'll see more snaps than Curry and Long. But I think with Vinny Curry, because I'm a big Vinny Curry fan, but it's just like the coaching staff, like it's been 3 now. When he first got here, it was Andy Reid and them, then Chip, now Doug and Jim Schwartz. He just don't get on the field a lot. And I don't know what it is, because last year kind of Barwin was getting more snaps than him. I just don't know what's going on inside the building. I don't know, but he said he had a MCL injury last year, so I really don't know. Was he wasn't that holding him back? But Vinny Curry's a good player, but maybe he's more of a situational guy.
Yeah,
that's his best.
Passing down type.
How Justin Tuck was coming in early in his career. You know what I mean? So brushing from the inside. But we'll see. But, I mean, it's a good problem to have. You got too many guys you don't know who to start, especially a pass rusher.
All right, last thing, the positional battle thing, and I'm shocked you didn't really bring that up. But you think running back is, like, clear-cut? You think Smallwood is really a lead guy? Or do you
No. I think Blunt is going to be the starter, and I think Sproles is going to get, I think he's going to get more percentage of snaps than Small. I think Small going to be a 3rd guy. You also got to add the rookie Pumphrey in there. But I think they was using him more like a slot receiver. I remember Daniel Jeremiah said it.
Doing the voluntary mini camps and all.
Yeah, and after the draft, they see him more as a slot guy right now. So I don't know if he's going to be getting too many carries, Pumphrey, but I think it's going to be Blunt and Sproles and Smallwood. I think it's going to be like in that order. But I think Blunt will get the majority of the first and second down carries, and Small will have to find his way in there eventually.
Yeah, because but what concerned me though was last year y'all threw a lot out of the backfield. You know what I'm saying? So you got Blunt there, who's no option at all in the passing game. You know what I'm saying? So how does that translate? And then again, is that something that becomes like a predictable trend? Because even with Dallas last year, when we ran that jet sweep with Lucky Whitehead. Yeah, it was like once he came in and he going in motion, everybody already knew what to expect. You know what I'm saying? So I think that also, you didn't happen to mention the position, but I was just bringing it up because I'm just like, I think that's going to be an interesting position to watch for y'all.
Because like last year when Ryan Matthews was healthy and able, Doug was using him. He was getting 20 carries. So I think Doug likes the ground and pound type game and wear you down. I think that he prefers that. So I think that's why when Matthews was in and out, I think that's why the play calling was a little questionable, because I think he really wants to run the ball effectively. We did it against Baltimore. We did it against Atlanta.
I mean, that's also the best friend, too, to a young quarterback.
Right. So I think that's what and even in Kansas, I don't know how much control he had over it, but we know Andy Reid wasn't known for running the ball, and they ran the ball a little bit more down Kansas City. I think he had something to do with that, as well. So I think he more so wants to – he said he runs the hybrid West Coast, but I think he wants to run the ball a little more than he passes it. But you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we'll see this year. But yeah, I think Blunt will be will get majority of the carries. I believe. You know, yeah, I think so.
All right, man. Well,
so your position battle. Who
I
you,
say, you know, it's crazy because it's so many different ways to go with this for me. I feel like offense is like everything solidified outside of left guard. I mean, yeah, outside of the guard position, like who's gonna play there. You know, everything on offense is just you know what I mean, just cemented. You know what I mean, with Dez Beasley, Terrence Williams, and Zeke and Dak and the rest of the O-line. Now, I think where you have the most questions is on the defensive side, as far as positional battles. But I don't even really mean it's a necessarily bad thing, because I think that, you know, previous years it was like you knew who was starting because you had Carr, who had his contract, of course, and was a solid vet, and he was just there. He was going to start. Had Claiborne, who had his draft position and talent, but you just never knew was he staying on the field. And then, you know, Skandrick has been proven, you know, to be a decent, good corner, period, in the league. So, like, everything else was pretty much solidified. You know what I mean? Only other question marks would have just been, like, who's going to start the first 4 games, because we had, like, 3 guys suspended.
Right.
So, but this year, I think it's a different dynamic, and it's dope because, you know, the Cowboys have young, hungry talent at positions where it's going to be, like, the major theme on defense is going to be competition. You know what I mean? And I think which is healthy, which is needed, you know, and it's also flexibility and versatility. So, I was trying to think about this and narrow it down, but I would say it's between, like, defensive tackle, but I also say secondary. And I'm going to say secondary because I mean secondary as a whole. Yeah. But I'm going to say secondary just because, like, defensive tackle, I'll get into that a little later. But secondary, I think that is great. The competition, the youth, and the talent that these guys have, man, the versatility that these guys have is just tremendous. So I'm excited to see the training camp battle that's going to ensue between the cornerback position. I know Skandrick, I know Anthony Brown has their positions locked. But I think, you know, you got Jordan Lewis, who can play outside, inside. You got Chidobe Awuzie, who can play inside, outside. Even Marquez White, you know, who can play outside. Long-rangey corner, played at Florida State, you know what I'm saying, played in the major conference. You know, kid has talent. He can play on the outside. 6'1", can guard, you know, can cut. Yeah, so long arms, right. Absolutely. So you have him there at corner. So the Cowboys got a very, very deep talent pool there at cornerback. And then you got Nolan Carroll, who I don't really care for. You got him there. So, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, y'all, and don't take it the wrong way. I think Nolan Carroll is cool if he's like he's covering a third guy, you know what I mean? Or even most twos maybe, you know what I'm saying? But he's no number one cornerback. I don't want him being my main guy on the outside or getting isolated on an island against, you know, a great wide receiver. Just that's not the case for me. I don't really care for him. And ideally, I really think, like, at best for him, he's really like 4th best corner on his team at best. I don't really believe in him. So that's where I stand on Nolan Carroll. But I also think the safety position. Many Cowboys fans trying to sell me on Jeff Heath. I'm not so sorry. I think he's a good backup, whereas though, like, he can play both safety positions. He can come in during different sub packages and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, and be that extra safety out there. But I think it's about Xavier Woods. But I also say it's going to be interesting. You got to think about Chidobe Awuzie, because I think that this kid really literally plays safety, plays slot, play outside, blitz the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally can move him around. So it's a crazy dynamic that Dallas has right now, where you could very much see him at the end of training camp starting on the other side of Byron Jones. You know what I'm saying? Whereas though, again, they had, which probably is also why they still continued to go corner and took White later on, you know what I'm saying, who was good value at the pick. But I still believe Xavier Woods at the end of the day, man, just playmaking ability and everything else, man. I really like that kid. You know I did. I had him mocked, I think, 3rd round to us. So he ended up going 6th for whatever reasons, but I'm happy he did. But again, the secondary, man, I just think that these guys, man, I think it's gonna be super competitive. And they got good wide receiver core to learn from. You know what I'm saying? Those guys that's gonna be working in that slot, gonna have their hands full with Cole Beasley. Des Bryant, every year, training camp, he talking his talk, working the cornerbacks, you know what I'm saying, making them work, you know. And, you know, again, man, Ryan Switzer's another guy who they're going to have to try to cover and stick with. So, again, I think that those guys, man, that secondary, man, is going to be the greatest positional just position area. You know what I'm saying, to really watch, man. It's gonna be a battle, man, and those guys are really gonna be trying to outdo each other to get on the field.
Right.
Yeah, man.
So what about the pass rush? That's also key as well.
Yeah.
Like, who you?
I honestly think I think the pass rush is gonna be slightly a little bit more clear cut to me. I think the Cowboys are going to give Taco Charlton every chance to win that to really start and probably win that position anyway. In which I really think he should come out as the winner of it anyway. I think he's really a complete prospect at defensive end. He's a guy that's a good athlete to be his size, 6'6", 275, and he, if you look at his 10-yard shuttles and everything else compared to some of the elite defensive ends, man, his numbers is good to be that size. So again, he can play the run. I think he definitely has to work on his pass rush moves a little bit. He relied a lot more on a bull rush and then even that spin move that he has. But I think he still got to get a little bit better with using his hands, being active. But again, he's still fulfilling his potential within that position. He only started 1 year at Michigan, you know what I'm saying? So I think he's going to get every chance to start. DeMarcus Lawrence, they saying that he's actually in like shape right now, which, is a good thing, who, had an 8-sack year, had, suspension, history, had the injury history. So I think this year he's finally going in with like a clean slate. He's not hurt. He's not suspended. So I think he's definitely going to be the starter on the other side. I think Charles Tapper is going to put up a fight because that was a guy I liked last year anyway coming into the draft. Dude has great athletic ability to be his size as well. And I think he's going to push Taco Charlton. David Irving suspended 4 games. But again, you use Justin Tuck as a reference, and that's the type of player David Irving really resembles to me. He catches a lot of havoc inside, on third downs. Also, he can pass rush from the outside. So I think he's going to be that guy that, that they can move in and out anyway, that might even just be his role. But so I do think that between DeMarcus Lawrence and Taco Charlton, I think that those two will emerge as the starters. But just like I was alluding to earlier with Vinny Curry and Barnett, I think that the Cowboys are going to rotate Tapper, because that was a guy Marinelli was high on, last year coming into the draft and even fighting and pushing to draft him and Malik Collins. So I definitely think Tapper, man, is going, as long as his back don't have no lingering issues or whatnot, I think he might even keep Charlton off the field at times, what I'm saying, especially on those pass rushing downs, because dude has that type of athleticism and speed. But I was getting to the defensive tackle thing. I believe that the pass rush also is going to be strong from within, because Malik Collins had 5.5 sacks last year as a defensive tackle, and he was playing a limited time because, they was putting him in a rotation. And that's another thing Rod Marinelli do, so we can't never lose sight of that. Rod Marinelli is known for rotating his players. One of the things Cowboys got to improve on is getting them guys off the field in them rotations, because the great QBs, like your Rodgers and company, was like catching them, going off sides and everything else, going, no huddle. Eli was on the same thing. So guys getting caught trying to get off the field. But Marinelli does a great job of rotating guys. I'll make this prediction right now, but I'm going to tell you right now, I really don't see Tyrone Crawford with the team next year. And I also see him losing.
Going into the season, you think he's done?
I think he's going to lose his spot. I think he's going to end up going to the bench. I really, because they got Stephen Paya there as well. They signed in free agency. So with that, I think Cedric Thornton also is going to emerge more so as that run stopper this year with McClain out. And I still think that Malik Collins is going to emerge as that pass rushing defensive tackle that really does everything for you that Tyrone Crawford didn't emerge to. I think with Tyrone Crawford, it was one of those deals where they banked on potential, where NFL executives try to take a step ahead before he hit the market and try to get him for decent value, and it didn't pay off. And I know they moved him around and everything else because we didn't have defensive ends, but still in all, he still underperformed. And I think kind of like, what the Eagles did with Curry, like figured we can try to sign him for something reasonable, banking on the fact that, we think he can, the arrow's trending up. You see what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I think
with Brandon Graham too.
Yeah, with Graham too, right. So yeah, it paid off with Graham. But yeah, so that's why Graham like possibly might be looking for more money now. But yeah, so I think Crawford, man, Crawford's going to lose his spot in that rotation, man. I think that, They may be trying to use him like inside, outside, trying to find something to do because his cap number was too high this year just to cut him. But I mean, who knows? Could possibly be a surprise cut. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, they have the money now with Romo's money off the books to take the hit if they really feel like he might not be best suited for that 53. But yeah. So that was my answer to the pass rush. But I do definitely I agree with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking forward to that battle. But it's like secondary is like to me is you're gonna see it's like a bigger. Broader range of young, hungry DBs, and DBs got the attitudes and everything else, so they gonna be out there trying to prove something. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said, that pass rush is key, man. You know what I mean? Especially in today's NFL. Definitely, you need that, especially going against these quarterbacks that drop back and throw it, 30 to 35 times a game and can slice you up. So you got to get pressure on them dudes.
Man, you're right about that, but I'm gonna tell you, like, we wasn't a high sack team last year, so and defense still did a very good job, holding it down. So and wouldn't score a lot of points, wasn't scored on us. I think that again, looking into it this year, you got talented pieces. They added a first round pick up front, man. You know what I'm saying? Big, piece up front on the defensive line. So I mean, only way they can go is up. You know what I'm saying on the pass rushing tip. And again, now DeMarcus Lawrence ain't missing the first 4 games. He'll probably he's in better shape. More prepared, getting reps and everything else. And Tapper's back. He was supposed to be there last year to help the pass rush, so he's there as well. And again, Malik Collins in year 2, looking to improve, going to have a more featured role. You know what I'm saying, starting role. So again, I think I'm just anxious to see that secondary.
Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because like I said, a lot of dudes that I like going into the draft that y'all pick, like I like Jordan Lewis, I like Marquez White, so y'all definitely added some talent via the draft. So it is, like you said, let them battle it out and see what happens.
No doubt. So let me ask you, goodness, what was the other question we was about to get to? We talked about positional battles. Who do you think is gonna be the star training camp? Like every year, like you know what I'm saying, like and we probably could dig a little deep though. Who like like last year I think it was like what Trey Burton for y'all something like last year.
It was Trey Burton. Who else was doing good in training camp?
Cause it's always that guy, and people start seeing their name all crazy, and then hold like these emotional attachments to him. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes like the team might let him go, or they actually still hang around. Who do you think gonna be like the star training?
Cornerback C.J. Smith. He was undrafted. He actually went to North Dakota State with Carson Wentz.
Okay.
And a lot of people was Malcolm Jenkins was real high on him and said that he actually made the the 53. But yeah, C.J. Smith, like they said, he coming into year 2, more prepared, not better, more got the NFL strength in him with a year on the NFL roster. But they say quick guy, doesn't back down from challenging. Our 3rd preseason game last year, they put him in the game, had him cover T.Y. Hilton for a little bit last year when we played in Indianapolis. But I think CJ, because like I said, Corey Underlin, the D-backs coach, was raving about him. Michael Jenkins was raving about him. Swartz said good things about him. So I think he'll have a good camp. I mean, maybe he'll carry it over into the year, but he's like one of them guys that nobody really knows. Well, Eagles fans know about, but a lot of NFL fans probably don't know about.
Yeah.
But I think he'll come back, with another year more confident and put himself in a better position to actually get on the field this year. Because like I said, corner is wide open on our roster outside of Jalen Mills, I believe. I think it's wide open. So I think he come in hungry and possibly, I don't know, maybe earn a starting spot. You never know. But yeah, I got C.J. Smith, guy that's going to be turning heads, quote unquote, in training camp.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's a good one, man. You feeding the fans some info, man, that they need to learn about.
Yeah.
People to look for. I think, and I was really on the fence, man, with this, man. There's so many different ways to go, but I'm going with Rico Gathers.
The former basketball player.
Yeah, former basketball player. Played for Baylor. Big tight end. Athletic as heck, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude literally can, great athlete. Last year, he got a chance to really sit and learn a position. And he's learning from a living legend, Hall of Famer right now, Jason Witten, who raves about him as well, raves about his talent, says he really has the ability to become one of the best. And I think that he also understands the opportunity. James Hannah's coming back, who was out for the season last year. but the dude literally, James Hanna has speed, ability, and everything else, and decent blocker. But I kind of think that the coaching staff feels like, and I mean, I'm going off my own hunch, so I can't really say like sources or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be like Ian Rappaport or one of them guys that make up sources. But I really feel like, you know, the coaching staff is high on Rico. You know, because they definitely fought to keep him around last year. And I also think that they kind of want to see that fresh blood and see this guy really take over that spot. Because I think that, you know, and the thing is, I've read interviews with this guy. He wants to be great. He really wants to be great. So, you know, and he didn't play football in a while. You know what I mean? Like, when he went basketball, he just went basketball for a minute. So he really was learning that position last year. I seen reports about how confident he is going into this year. I think that, you know, he's going to get work, you know, with Dak Prescott and whatnot. And I think he sees the opportunity. Like, you have young running back there. You got this young quarterback right there. So they're both studs. And he says, I think he's looking at this like, yo, this can be my position in another year or so. Like, because he can fight and still battle for some time right now, even on some passing downs. Because Witten's like 35 now. So, you know, I think that he's going to go ahead, man, and become the star of training camp. I also consider Ryan Switzer, but I was like, you know, I think Rico Gathers is really going to turn some heads, make some plays. You'll probably the guy you'll see making big one-hand catches, you know what I'm saying, over linebackers and stuff like that, you know, and really fighting his way to get some time, man, this year. So that's why I think will be training camp start this year.
Yeah, okay. Players you think that's on the like the roster bubble, like that's kind of like fighting to the stay, you know, some vets or.
That's a good question. Well, start with Lucky Whitehead. I think Whitehead is gone. I definitely think Whitehead is gone. I really wasn't a fan last year. Even found himself suspended for a game. You know what I'm saying? Last year with like a whole going out or something like that. Did some Snapchat and while he was out or something, he wasn't supposed to be out. But yeah, I think Lucky Whitehead won't make it out. I think he's on a bubble. I even still actually think Nolan Carroll. You know, just from, you know, didn't he get arrested?
Yeah, he had a DUI, DWI, or something.
From the arrest, but also just because of the fact that, again, I'm not high on him, and other people act like $3 million is a lot of money to spend, and it's really not, especially like in the NFL at cornerback. That's no real money. And his deal is virtually a one-year deal anyway. But, I mean, I think he was there to be veteran insurance. But I think after training camp, like with these kids showing that they can really play, you know, but then again, his positional value is kind of high because it's corner, so they may keep, you know, a lot of corners, so he has a chance to really stick. But I still think he's on a bubble. And I'll definitely say, goodness, I really think that those guys right now are the bubble veterans. Because it's like otherwise, like it seems like the other vets are probably going to be there. You know what I'm saying? Like the other vets are going to be there. So I would really say that those guys are the vets. And like I said, Tyrone Crawford is a wild card. I still think that I don't think he's going to win the starting position by the time this thing is said and done with, which could still possibly put him in risk to go ahead and lose his spot. But if they end up staying loyal to his salary, then he still just may be a you know, an expensive bench piece. But I think that those three guys, man, you could potentially see without a job, man.
Okay. Well, you know, I'm not gonna give you the one everybody know, like Michael Kendricks or Marcus Smith. I'm gonna go with Jalen Watkins at the safety spot. Well, safety / corner, whatever you want to call him.
He been clinging or hanging around.
Yeah,
for a little minute
I think we got Terrence Brooks, you know, out of Florida State on the roster now. So I think with another year around, you know, Joe Douglas brought him in last year, I think, after cut down day, brought him in and put him on the roster. I think he's going to take over that third safety spot from him because I think he's just a more physical player, and he plays the ball a little bit more better than Jalen Watkins. Like last year when we had to move Jank to the slot, Watkins was the first guy in there, and it was just a horrible combination with him and Leotis McKelvin on one side. Like quarterbacks were just going at that spot all day long. So I think he definitely is going to get up out of here. Also, a guy, Steven Means, he a defensive end. Just with he's not a bad player, pretty decent player, and he produces in the preseason when he got time. He really didn't play that much during the regular season, but he's a pretty good player. But I think just with the numbers at the defensive line spot, I just think he don't make it. But he's a pretty good player. But I think the numbers game will you don't want to carry too many defensive linemen on your 53. But like I said, I think he'll find a spot somewhere and be a good rotational guy because he can pretty much not say I want to say do it all like he's all world, but he's a solid defense. He can play the run. He can rush the passer a little bit. He got in a couple games last year here and there. But like I said, again with the numbers game, I just don't think he's gonna make the cut this year. Adding Barnett, Chris Long, still want to keep Vinny around. You know, we added Jernigan on the defensive line, so you know you got Bo Allen. We got a bunch of guys at the defensive line spot, so I think he may get left off. So, and also there's a corner named Aaron Grimes we got. I think he could either be the starting slot corner or he can not make the roster at all, like with a good camp. Because he had a good camp last year, but he sprained his shoulder.
Man, that's like super boom or bust.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
He can have a start at the slot or just not even make the team.
Because he came from the CFL. He went to Idaho. He was like undrafted. He's about 26 years old, I think now. But he had a good one-handed interception last year against Pittsburgh in the preseason. But he sprained his shoulder and he got like waived. And we brought him back during the year. But I think he can, like I said, he can beat out Brooks for that slot spot this year. He can potentially not make the roster at all. That's another guy I think that's. You know, depending on what kind of camp he has, he can earn his money, you know, and get a job, or he can, you know, get cut. So
I know you're staying away from the obvious, but what happens with Kendricks? Do you think Kendricks make it out of training camp as an Eagle?
I don't think so, but it's like, what do you know, it was just like draft time was the perfect time to trade him, you know, move him. They didn't. So I don't know if they.
Do you think they're just going to release him?
Because I don't know what his cap hit is. I'm not too sure about that, but. I don't know. I know Marcus Smith is going to be going because he don't have no cap hit tied to him. I don't think he's going to be, you know, a camp buy. I think he's going. But Kendricks, I don't know. Maybe you could try to get like a conditional 6 or 7 for him or something.
I think
if somebody go down.
I would say it's probably going to depend on injury and whatnot.
So I'd be lucked up last year with the Bradford thing. You know, Teddy Bridgewater. You know, sorry to hear that, but you know he went down.
Yeah.
So I think something like that. Maybe a linebacker goes down, the team comes calling. Because like I said, I still think Kendricks can be a good player in this league. He just, you know, I don't know. I don't know if he loves the game. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know him like that, but I don't want to question it. But it just seems like, you know,
I think it'd be coming down to fit too sometimes. Though,
sometimes, yeah. You know, like I think he's a 3-4 guy.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'll get like, you know, like I think that, you know,
that was his best year.
He wasn't really and he wasn't really meshing with some of the defensive changes that y'all made.
Right. When he has to read and react, he has trouble. Like when he gets attack, and you know, Schwartz doesn't blitz like that, and that's his strength. So it's like. He really don't fit here, but if he goes to a team that'll use him, like
New England to get a 7th round pick,
right, and turn him, you know what I mean?
And he'll make the Pro Bowl,
right, because he got all the talent, man. But like I said, it's just finding the right spot. That's a lot that goes on with these NFL players that people don't realize neither, man. You know, right fit, right scheme, right coach, right everything. Like you just don't. Everybody not like a J.J. Watt or Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? You need the right system to be effective. Like you move some good players around. You know, say if you move like let's say back in the day, Rondé Barber. If you put him on a team like what we used to do, man-to-man blitz, would he have been that good?
Man-to-man, right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Would he be that good? No. I mean, he's a great player. What he was doing in Tampa and all that, but
instincts was crazy. Though.
Right.
I think, but the way his instincts was, he might have made the coach change his philosophy.
Right.
That's the type where he was.
Right.
So
you know
but I totally get what you're saying. It's all about.
He was a great player. Don't get me wrong. Rondé was the man.
Yeah.
But sometimes just like scheme and.
I mean, we even discussed that about Landon Collins. It was just about being able to put him in a position to win.
Right.
Where he can, have more, ability to roam free and make just plays. Kind of like how he was able to do in Bama. Because they had stud corner pieces around him and talented defenses. Right. It's like, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Kind of like how Roy Williams played. You know what I mean? In Oklahoma in early years with Dallas when Darren Woodson was there and Roy was just able to make big hits, do whatever he wanted to do.
He had to do a little more. It's like, oh damn.
Yeah. Once he had to, once Darren Woodson went down, my goodness, Roy Williams
it was ugly.
Yeah, it was
that Santana Holmes night. What was that? Him and
it was open season on him, man.
I mean, not Santana Holmes, Santana Moss.
Santana Moss, right? Yeah. Killed this, man. Yeah, I wanted to rumble Santana Moss, man. For that,
that was like two drives back to back or something like that. That was like insane.
Right over the top.
Who was the corner? The corner was it? I forgot who the corner was.
Newman was there.
Newman? Okay. That's great. He's still playing, too, man.
Newman's
playing well.
Playing. Right. That's another guy, right? Like, Cowboys fans wrote him off. And here he's 39, 38. And he's like fountain of youth because Zimmer know how to coach him. You know what I'm saying? So, stuff like that, man. Well, we really talk about those kind of players. So, I definitely do think, Kendricks definitely can flourish somewhere if utilized right. or he's that guy with talent and had a few years, but then coaching schemes come. Because I feel like Bruce Carter was that same player. Bruce Carter had 5 interceptions the last year. Dallas was sending him out of town.
Is he on the roster right now?
I don't even think. No, I don't even think he's on the roster right now. I think he got picked up by the Bucks. They dropped him, but then I think he went to the Jets or something like that. And again, or he still I think he may be signed somewhere like 1 year deal this year. But I mean, that dude got talent. Seriously,
right.
Size, athleticism, everything. Really would have been a first round pick had he not tore his ACL. But oh yeah, and it was. Yeah, another thing, I brought up Hannah, and I think that he's a vet too that might be on the bubble. Again, he caught a contract from the Cowboys for like 2
years. He had
a
foot injury, right, or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's tricky.
And it's just like, so it's like, again, I think that he might be on that bubble too, man. So we gonna see, but I think Rico man gonna step it up. So yeah, weakness, man. What do you think is the biggest weakness, dog, going into training camp?
Center and cornerback, I think, is our 2 biggest weaknesses. Well, even though Kelsey, I went back and watched a little more. I mean, he didn't play as bad as the year went on, but I still view him as a liability because when Doug was hired, he was talking about, he want big physical offensive linemen. That's not Jason Kelsey. You know what I'm saying? And also, I think, Sayamalu is the center that they want. But, Kelsey he turned it, like I said, he turned it around a little bit in the second half. Like, his first half was just horrendous. But as the season went on, he had a pretty decent year. But also, like I said, cornerback, I think that's a weakness just because of the unknown. You got Jalen Mills, who I think, is a good player, but he has some weaknesses. He gets burnt, every now and then.
A little over-aggressive.
So, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? But it's like with that, I don't want to take that away from him.
You don't want to lose his confidence.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I love his confidence. Like, he don't fear nobody on the field, and I love that about him. But I just want to see what he does in year 2 with, another year in the scheme, clean his technique up a little bit more, you know what I'm saying? Because speed is not everything at corner, you know what I mean? You can cover that up with good technique at the line, don't get beat the line, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And also, like I said, with Jenkins and McLeod playing, both being back there, that'll help him out more as well. But outside of him, you got Patrick Robinson, like your journeyman. How you look at Nolan Carroll, that's how, Patrick Robinson. He was a first-round pick.
A guy that might not even make the roster.
Right.
If other guys step up.
Then you got Rasul Douglas, who I think is going to be the starter on opposite of Jalen Mills, and if that happens, that's just 2 young guys. That's also that could be kind of question mark.
Take your bumps and bruises here and
there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? But we're just waiting for Sidney to come back. But I that's another dude. But I don't think he's gonna play this year. I would sit him this year. Me personally, I would just let him, rehab and get that Achilles right, then come back next year, stronger or whatever. But they say he possibly could be back by October, or like mid-October. I think is the time frame he was given before we selected him. That's what his doctor was saying. Then once he got here, they kind of changed it up. But he's supposedly not to be he's not going to be talking to reporters all year. So I don't know what's going to happen.
That's how Jalen Smith was.
Right, you know what I mean? Yeah. So he's going to be off the grid just, trying to get back. But who knows, you know what I'm saying? Like, even if you, like, say we in a playoff push, I still wouldn't rush him back because he's a guy you want for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? This year is not really important for real, you know what I mean?
No doubt.
You know what I mean? And I think when he comes back, I think he's going to be that guy, that number 1 corner that we need. But yeah, right now, I would say cornerback is like the biggest weakness / question mark because you really don't know. There's a lot of unknown, and it's kind of scary to be honest. The way we play defense, lead them guys 1-on-1 all day. But it's gonna be trial by fire, man. Just go ahead, throw them in the deep and see if they can swim.
Yeah, no doubt. I think also like regarding Sidney Jones, I mean if I'm y'all, and if the ACL's healed, I think
Achilles.
I mean, my fault, Achilles. I think on top of that, I think what I would probably do, if I'm y'all, I think I would probably let him play the last 4 games of the year. If he's fully healthy, but I mean, I wouldn't give him no feature role. Like,
right.
I would bring him in there, and he can probably be, in a dime package. You know what I'm saying? Just to get his feet wet and know the speed of the game. So it's like by next year,
he knows.
It's right. Because it's like it's one thing you going up against guys in practice, and I don't, and no knock towards like Alshon or anything else, but I don't, he's not like really getting to go up against like speedy guys where like they're really going to try to go at him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the guys get into it at training camp, but it's like, you still my teammate, and I ain't trying to get you hurt. But it's like, I think
Odell.
Right, there you go. Guys
Crowder, guys with that speed.
Guys just trying to like, I want to demolish you and humiliate you and go at you. So I think it gives him a little taste of the NFL. You know what I mean? Because, especially if he right at the time frame where he can actually be back and they don't feel like he's potentially at any further risk to damage it, I would let him come in, transition him in like the last 4 games, just to, like I said, just so he can say, you know what, man, no, the game ain't really that fast. Like, I
Right.
can do this. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would do with him.
I think that's just the Sixer fan in me coming out, just sitting them all year. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? That's what I'm accustomed to, man.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
but
The
yeah, I would, if he
process.
ready, man, if he ready, you know what I mean, go ahead, let him play. But you know, like I said, it's just tricky. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
if
I wouldn't do it as early as October, even if he
Nah.
was clear.
Right.
But I would definitely say like last
Ease
month
him
of
in.
the year. Yeah, last month of the year.
Mhm.
You know, I would get him. You know, get it. Let him get his feet wet. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what Dallas was almost pushing to do with Jalen Smith last year, because Jerry Jones and them felt like he really could have went, and he said he felt like he could have went. So I think they was going to do that. But instead, like, you know, it was other positions and other guys that they needed to have on that 53 going into the playoffs. So it just, you know, it didn't work out. But I say, as for Dallas, biggest weakness going in there, and again, I could have went a couple ways, but I think the biggest weakness going into this year is probably going to be more than likely the pass rush. I think the pass rush is going to be the biggest, you know, or potential weakness question. Like, for the same reason why you said cornerback, you know what I mean? Like, there's unknowns there. Of course, Taco Charlton is there. But even then, it's like pass rushers are very rare that come in and really, really have, like, amazing
Dominant years.
dominant year. Like, Joey Bosa was just, like, the freak that we thought he was going to be. You know what I'm saying? The anomaly that we thought he was going to be. And, I mean, so I still got Charlton, like, on a high end, probably to still finish with somewhere around, like, 7 sacks. Like, I don't even have him, like, double-digit guys out of that. But I think he'll make plays, get some rush, you know, disrupt, you know, a couple, you know what I mean? Be disruptive, be active. But he still got to learn a position, learn the speed. But he gets to go up against Tyron Smith. But, yeah, I would definitely say pass rush to me is the biggest question mark. Secondary, like I said, I believe in the talent that's there. Like, I really like those kids, and they all played in big schools. They all played up against tough competition, and they definitely have the talent and ability. And Rod Marinelli has been, like, amazing with as far as, like, being able to work with his secondaries.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I think Byron Jones makes the leap this year, who had a very good year last year, and some people really just kind of dismiss or underrate him. But as far as his responsibility was concerned, had a great year. But I think defensive end. I think the defensive end spot, because again with Tank Lawrence, DeMarcus Lawrence, it's either going to be make or break for him. You know what I mean? He either going to really fulfill his potential, because, again, he showed it. He's flashed it. You know what I mean? Even in playoff games against the Lions and whatnot, you know, and even having an 8-sack year. But, again, injuries and
That
the
one, two.
suspension.
It seemed like
Yeah, right. So
wasn't
it's
the
like,
play.
again, it's make or break for him. Tapper, you got to see if, again, like, you know what I mean? He said he's fully healthy and everything else. That back thing came out of nowhere on him last year. But, again, there's still question marks at the end spot. I feel way more comfortable with the interior defensive lineman, you know, and us being able to generate pressure from the inside, because that's where majority of it came from last year. And then you got that guy Benson Mayoya, who I'm just not sold on either, who made a few
Oakland,
plays. Right? Yeah, from Oakland. He made a few plays last year, brought over as a restricted free agent and whatnot. But, yeah, I just think he's too light over there at that side. So he's a rotational piece, and he'll be a rotational piece because he got a contract. But I definitely think defensive end may be the question mark for Dallas, because I think the secondary is going to be good, man. But, yeah, the defensive end spot, man, pass rush. Yeah. Everything else is like they will be fine at.
Okay. That's good. All right. I'm gonna toss one at you. Let's say who's gonna be the offensive MVP this year, like for Dallas?
Zeke.
Oh,
yeah,
that's pretty easy.
I mean, well, you know, because earlier I said I got him winning Offensive Player of the Year, but I definitely think Zeke gonna be the MVP of the offense, man.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Because I think Dak's gonna make a leap, have a good year, really good year, and build on it. But Zeke gonna be that MVP. And if it's not him, I think Dez Bryant might come back and really show how much of a monster he is, because he turned up at the end of last season. Who you think is the offensive MVP for the Birds?
I'm gonna go with Alshon. You know what I mean? 1 year deal, betting on himself. You know, had predominated. He dominated before. You know, when he never was the guy alone, but you know, he had the capability and the talent to be that elite number one guy. And I think, you know, big payday down the line. This when your players, this when they have their best years anyway. But I think he motivated the show. You know, we hear a lot of, you know, questions about the injuries, the suspensions, and all that. So he said he just ready to go ahead and bet on himself and, you know, go ahead and do what he got to do, because the opportunity is there, you know, for him to be for put them numbers up.
That's a good pick because I still think that, not saying it's going to happen, but it's possible. It's very possible you can still see Wentz put up some yards, but still throw a lot of interceptions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's just his mentality.
I'm about to say, he's a gambler. He's a kid that's taking risks. And at the same time, I don't think it's still taking enough into account that he still came from a really, really small school. So it's like he still got to learn the nuances of the game, work on his mechanics and whatnot. I think he definitely his arm talent. He definitely got arm talent. His arm talent is he can throw footballs in his sleep. But I think that everything else still has to catch up. So
I think like year 3 will be like when you really see him reach his full.
Got you.
Like with quarterbacks in general, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Like that third year, like you go the first year, your second year,
when everything slows down.
Yeah,
and
you got everything like all right, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair. That's fair.
Also, because he's still learning new players. With Alshon, with Torrey. You know what I'm saying? So it's still like got a new running back in the backfield. But like I said, about year 3, I think he'll just see you be like, all right, he's comfortable out there now.
That's a fair assessment.
I still think he's gonna be good this year, but like I said, year 3 is when he finally let it all click.
Defensive MVP.
Jordan Hicks. Yeah, I got Jordan Hicks, man. I think he's gonna take that next leap to like superstardom around nationally. Like he got his buzz locally now. We really, he got his fan base here. But I think with the more primetime games we have, if he can stay healthy, of course, I think he takes that next leap into superstardom, man, because he's just always around the ball, complete linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, his problem was health. But yeah, I got Jordan Hicks, defensive MVP.
All right, defensive MVP. I'm gonna stir the pot up a bit for Dallas. While the general, Sean Lee, man, is Sean Lee. I got Byron Jones. I think Byron Jones is going to have way more control in that secondary now. Barry Church still was kind of like the captain there back there.
Right.
Even though Byron Jones was the savior. And again, like if people really watch the games, man, I'm trying to tell you, watch the film, watch the games. His responsibility, man, the ground he covered, people try to blame the 3rd and 30, whatever it was on Byron, but it's just like, like for Aaron Rodgers to have that much time, and again his responsibilities and just covering so much ground, and then just the uncertainty. He was losing pieces in the secondary last year, and wasn't giving up big plays, wasn't allowing big plays to happen. And this is a guy that moves down there and covers every team's best tight end, or he's versatile enough to come down there. So I think that this year, man, again, Byron Jones is totally comfortable in that safety spot. This is a year, his 3rd season where he really can go ahead, grasp the defense. And really just, take reins back there. You know what I'm saying? He's somewhat going to be like the elder statesman back there a little bit with some of the young kids back there. But I think also those guys, their attitudes, their talent level, and their feistiness and hungriness back there, their hunger back there, I think that, Byron Jones is going to be a lot more comfortable. I know he's already an amazing athlete, one of the best athletes in the game, period. But I think that he's going to make the leap, man, and really become the best player on the Cowboys defense next year.
That's a good prediction, Like I said, he definitely has the athletic talent. I would like to see, well, I wouldn't like for him to see, but like making more plays on the ball, getting there a little sooner, maybe with more talent around him. For people to really, really respect his game, he got to start getting some turnovers. That's how it go in the NFL anyway. Once you start making them big plays and all that.
But I think also, what people got to keep in mind is, like, again, the defense is being played. So, like, when you playing bend but don't break, you know what I'm saying? Like, when that's the mantra, because you don't have a pass rush. You see what I'm saying? Like, if quarterbacks aren't forced in the inerrant throws, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's closing in on balls where he's helping the corner out, and they already gave up a 7-yard cushion. So he's coming closing in with his speed, and he made great plays last year. Again, like huge plays against AJ Green last year against Cincinnati, made plays in the Pittsburgh game, you know what I'm saying, on 2-point conversion attempts. Like, again, the kid definitely made plays, but like you said, I think that people look up and be like, oh, well, he don't have enough interceptions and stuff. And again, you got to think about the nature of the defense and already us not having a pass rush. So it's like quarterbacks, by the time they throwing, they always comfortable. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so,
true. Yeah,
so,
true.
so you know what I mean? Other safeties are, can take opportunities and risks because the defense is pressuring quarterbacks into making passes, bad throws. But I'm with you. You know what I'm saying? I would like to see more turnovers, but I think that that's going to have to come from, again, man, making quarterbacks, rush to make those throws.
Right.
Yeah, for that heat. So, he played a ton of single high, man, and, he really covered a lot of ground. So. But yeah, so I'm with you on that, man. All right, so lastly, I guess because we got a few minutes left.
Like 2-3 minutes left.
All right, like 2-3 minutes left. All right, so quickly, who do you think going into this year is going to be the most important coach
in the NFL period? Or
no, on your team.
On my team?
Yeah.
I think Schwartz is because he had the defense, the way he runs his defense, like he puts all the emphasis on the front four. So I think sometimes he need to try to do something else. Like if the front four not getting there, you can't just continue to just rely on that. Yeah. So you got to be able to switch it up and mix it up. You know what I mean? So like I said, Doug Peterson got a lot of blame last year, but it was sometimes, like that Dallas game, we blamed Doug Peterson. Also the defense, Dak let it come back. You know what I mean? And that second half and that overtime, he just went right down the field. You know what I mean?
And sometimes those D linemen get worn down, man. And that wide nine,
yeah. I mean, so you gotta, like I said, when you see that, you gotta start, sending extra guys. Maybe send a linebacker, send a safety, some different looks. So I think he's the most important if we want to get to the playoffs this year. You know what I mean? So because I think Doug has the talent, and I see what Doug likes to do on offense. So I think we should be fine enough if the defense could just do their part. I think we should be okay. But yeah, I think Schwartz is the most important coach this year. You know what I mean? Seeing how he's going to call this defense and during the games, if things not working, will he switch it up or will he continue to do the same thing?
Got you. That's definitely valid, man. I would say for Dallas, man, it's gonna be on Scott Linehan. While I definitely do think Marinelli, man, has just as much as an importance, but I trust Marinelli for sure, just because he's been always dealing with, and that's one thing I'm impressed about. Dallas went like all defense. Finally, gave him just loaded up on tools, gave him young pieces, which just wasn't relying on the same old vets or the people that get paid or Claiborne already being there. He's inherited these guys.
The scrap heap. You know
right. But so I'm happy for Rod, but I believe that with this year, how he's going to handle Dak, Linehan, because late last year, he gained more trust, what I'm saying? And they threw the ball up more. They was, they opened the offense up more. Also, using Zeke on third downs, what I'm saying? In the passing game. Also, you got Ryan Switzer, who they really want to get involved too and spread it out, go more of a spread offense where you got Beasley and Switzer underneath. So I'm looking to see how creative he's going to be. He was creative last year. They took gambles on third and ones and whatnot, doing, all kinds of stuff. So, I definitely trying to see how he's going to open the book up, continue to build on it. I think he's going to be the most important piece there, though, because, how do you handle this offense going a year or two? And with Dak and Zeke, and also Dez now having that camaraderie. So are we taking more shots down, a lot more shots downfield? Because last year, still took a decent amount of shots downfield, and Dak was extremely one of the most accurate quarterbacks throwing the ball downfield. So I think Linehan, man. I think it's going to come down to Linehan, man, in the play calling, man. Also, like at those crucial moments. Will he get too cute at times, like he would on 3rd and 1? Which paid off big sometimes, but also you would just look up like, yo, man, what the hell was that just now? So you got Zeke, don't overdo it either. You know what I'm saying? So and will Dak, be implemented more in the run game too? You know what I'm saying? More read options, stuff like that. So and the talent is there to do pretty much whatever they want to do. So that I'll say is most important coach for Dallas this year, man.
You know what I mean? Well, yeah, because he it definitely is not hard to mess up when you got the talent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes doing the simple stuff is the smart thing. Sometimes when you overthink it, you mess things up. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, well, definitely another episode in the books, man. What I mean? Tell us what y'all think, man. We broke down some training camp, man. Training camp previews.
Y'all got different people, breakout player, roster bubble player, hit us up. Let us know, man. You know what I mean? What y'all agree with, what y'all don't.
Oh, man. Shout out to my guy, Noah Brown, man, from Ohio State, wide receiver. I definitely think he's going to be making some plays, man, and possibly push guys like Bryce Butler. You know what I'm saying? At the back end of that wide receiver spot. He might force Dallas to keep extra wide receiver. But yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, man, because I totally forgot about my guy, man. Built like Dez Bryant, man. Dude got quickness, man. More quick than he is really fast. But really, you know what I'm saying, again, didn't get a chance to really shine in Ohio State. Urban Meyer and his play calling. But you know, that's what that is. So I just wanted to throw that out there too, that little tidbit. But yeah, man, like Jeff said, man, we appreciate y'all. Definitely, man, let us know what y'all think, man. If y'all got other players, man, y'all disagree with us, let us know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like who we think gonna win some of these battles, who we think might be the defensive or offensive MVP, you know what I'm saying, of the team coming into the year.
Strengths, weaknesses of the team, you know what I mean? Whatever y'all think.
All of that. We look forward to the feedback. Otherwise, we're not trying to debate y'all about everything else, man. Y'all want to talk to us, man? Let's talk about this podcast. Let's talk about what we talk about this podcast.
On this, right.
So, and part of it, man, we got to be responsible. So we got to continue to make sure we directing the conversations only about what we talking about here. Otherwise, man, it's a waste of time. We don't feel like arguing with y'all. Jeff was ready to beat one of his y'all fellow Eagles fans up today. So, you know, so we got to pray that Jeff, you know, stays peaceful, man. You know what I'm saying?
Had to pray, man.
Y'all Eagles fans keep the peace, man. You know what I mean? Y'all do enough fighting when y'all go 6-10 this year. So, listen,
please,
man.
10-6.
So listen, man, you know, yo, man, Jeff, man, we signing out, right, bro?
Yeah, Philly Freck 215, man, get at me.
Yo, Pastor Carl Day, man, that's Carl with a C, man. You know, only podcaster and pastor out here, man. Sports podcaster and pastor, because this other pastor got podcasts, but, you know, I'm going to talk real sports with y'all. So
catch y'all next time when we got some real, you know, training camp will be here before the next episode, so we'll definitely have some stuff to talk about.
Subscribe to the podcast, share the podcast, put the word out here, man. Let people know we talking real football. We not trolling, man. This thing is troll free, man.
Yes.
So we not saying stuff for shock value. We no Skip Bayless
really
or Stephen A.
believe.
Smith. You know what I mean? This is truth just based off what we watching. And again, man, we willing to be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So y'all can hold us accountable. But check us out, share it, do everything y'all got to do.
Text it, all that.
That's it, man. Show us love, man. So we out, y'all, man. Episode 7 in the books.
Peace.
Look forward to talking to y'all, man. Peace.